What's going on YouTube? It is Ninja Turtle, and I want to first apologize because I was supposed to make this video, a Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite video, for Friday, and I was just too tired on Thursday to make this happen. So here I am Saturday morning putting this together. I'm back, another video. It's Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Today's video is going to be finally getting to who I think is going to be the new characters introduced on the Marvel side for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So if you missed any of my previous videos, I've already made a video on who I think is going to be a returning character who's already in the series. I've already discussed the X-Men and how I feel about them and how I feel about their return into the series. They are not going to be on this list for those reasons, so check those videos out, and I'm sure you probably, if you're watching this, you've already seen other people's take on that issue. So again, this is the Marvel side. This is not a wish list. This is not who I want to be in the game. This is who I think is going to be in the game. And that's based off of Marvel's trends, how they pick things for their games and their characters, and how they like to market themselves, plus who I think Capcom would have a good time or a fun time animating and putting into the game. I did try to take into account of characters having similar powers or similar abilities and trying not to overlap that. That's going to be an issue in this list, though I will say that I know the previous producer, I think is Ryota Nitsuma, if I said his name right. He's not involved in this game, so his thought process may not, be the same process for this game, and maybe they will have similar characters. But for the purposes of this list, I'm going to try to point that out and say that I won't have similar characters. But anyway, let's get to the list. Coming in at number 10 is actually kind of tough for me, even though it's kind of obvious, but still a little tough. It's hard to pick villains, guys. It's hard to pick what type of villain they want to have in the game as just a normal character. MODOK comes out of left field, even though he's a very prominent villain and so on. You got characters like Sentinel and stuff like that. But yes, Ultron. We know Ultron is gonna, for the most part, be in this game. You can see that from the trailer of a Sigma Ultron hybrid type of villain. But the real question is, are we actually going to play as Ultron? Is he going to be available as a selectable character, like independent from Sigma? Even if he was joined with Sigma, like, will we be able to play as that? Is he going to be just like Galactus or Onslaught, where they're just the end villain and we don't get to play as them? So that's why it's really tough for me to say Ultron's going to be a newcomer, because yeah, he's in the game, but is he going to be playable? That's the only thing. But number 10 is Ultron. Looking forward to that. Hopefully they get him right. I love the comic book version of Ultron. I just don't like the movie version, but I don't think we have to worry about that. Okay, coming in at number 9 for me of characters I think that are going to be new on the Marvel side is Squirrel Girl. So this game, this franchise, is plenty quirky. You can say hokey if you like that word, I don't. But there's plenty of quirks in the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise, and Squirrel Girl fits that bill perfectly. She's unbeatable Squirrel Girl. She has beaten Doctor Doom, she's beaten Galactus, she's beaten Thanos, she's beaten MODOK, she's beaten every character. She's unbeatable. You can't beat her. She's a squirrel girl that controls squirrels. I mean, she talks to squirrels, she doesn't control them. And she has a big squirrel tail. But she's actually one of my favorite characters, honestly. She's hilarious, and I think there's a lot of the humor and charm that they can put into this character that would be exactly what this franchise loves to have in it. The only issue with Squirrel Girl is that, like I said, with similar characters, if they're going to put Felicia in the game, there isn't a whole lot of difference in the two characters between Felicia on the Capcom side and Squirrel Girl on the Marvel side. Just swap out the cats for squirrels. The movesets could probably be the same. I might cover that in a video in the future, so stay tuned for that one. But I'm gonna put her on here. I think if anybody that I don't have on my list could make this list for that character instead of or for this, instead of Squirrel Girl, I'm gonna say Vision. But officially Vision's not on my list. He's just kind of someone on the outside of my list, like an honorable mention, but I don't think he's gonna make it. Number 8 is Windpool. So for reasons of the X-Men not possibly making this list, making this game I should say, I put Windpool here as a replacement to Deadpool, as she already is a spoof on his character anyway. A lot of people do like Windpool, and if you don't know anything about Windpool, is she was a regular person that just read comic books in the real world, quote unquote, and she got sucked into a warp portal, whatever, and she was transported into the Marvel universe and became pretty much a comic book character. She has no powers, but she knows that she's in a comic book. She knows that she's part of this superhero world, and she's just like Deadpool, that is breaking the fourth wall and that sort of things. So in other games, she does have healing abilities, and she does use guns and knives and stuff like that. So she's very ninja, like, she got the martial arts background of Deadpool, because she's a spoof of Deadpool, who's a spoof of Deathstroke or whatever from DC. But there's a chance that she can make it in here, especially if Marvel doesn't want to have Deadpool in the game. At number 7, I have Gamora. So another female character, another character from the Guardians of the Galaxy that would be added in on top of Rocket Raccoon, an assassin. She's the universe's most deadly assassin, swords, and the movie Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out in May, I believe, the beginning of May. The only issue I have with adding Gamora into this game is, like I said, the similar characters, is that one, there are, as far as Guardians of the Galaxy, there's already one, and I'm going to name another one later. I don't think that Drax is going to make it. I don't think that Groot is going to make it per se as a selectable character, because I think he's going to be added to like Rocket's level 3 hyper combo. But with Gamora, she's popular, but I'm not sure she's that popular that people want to play her. Also, with Elektra having a spotlight in the Daredevil series on Netflix, they could easily pick Elektra instead of Gamora, because they would be, for the most part, pretty similar. They're both assassins, they're both female, they, using swords and knives and stuff like that, very, deadly. What if they just did Elektra and not Gamora? But I picked Gamora, and I'm going to get back to that whole Netflix thing in a little bit on this list. Alright, coming in at number 6, I have Black Bolt. So Black Bolt is the king of the Inhumans. He is their most powerful member. A whisper can shatter a mountain, but despite that, he doesn't speak, but despite that, he still has incredibly powerful punches. He's just incredibly strong, he can fly. How they would implement that into this game would be fun. Of course, he would use his voice for like his level 3 and he'd do a crap ton of damage. The Marvel universe is pushing the Inhumans very hard, especially this summer, because there is an Inhumans TV show coming to ABC. Now, with Black Bolt being on that show, they have him in their advertisement, so he's going to be headlined in that show. There's also a gateway to add in other Inhumans like Karnak and Medusa, although Karnak is not going to be that much of a rush down character that's different from, say, Iron Fist. So I don't necessarily think he's going to make it, but Medusa would be interesting later on, maybe DLC. But I think Black Bolt will be the gateway to the Inhumans in the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite franchise. At number 5, I have Silk. Silk is a character in the Spider-Man universe. She was bitten by the same spider that Peter Parker was that gave him his powers, so she has similar powers. She came up a few years ago, but she's been around, like I said, since the beginning of Spider-Man's mythos. But she was kidnapped right away. But she's out and about. She actually has a very strange attraction that's like a biological attraction to Spider-Man, that pretty much whenever they see each other they just hump each other like rabbits, but that's a whole nother thing. As far as what they can do with Silk in the game, it's just a female Spider-Man, but Silk is not as strong as Spider-Man. She's faster though, so what they can do is make her a lot faster, a little bit more nimble, give her more attacks that are of the melee variety, that are quick and dashing, maybe have like a little teleport quote unquote sort of thing, but just something that would make Spider-Man faster, and obviously a female to boot. Number 4 is Kamala Khan. So Kamala Khan is a very new character, not too old, as far as like a couple years old maybe. She is known as Miss Marvel. She's taken that mantle from the previous Miss Marvel, which is Carol Danvers, who is now Captain Marvel, who is already confirmed for the game. Marvel really loves Kamala Khan, and she has a lot of fans. This would be a huge draw for all of Kamala Khan's fans to come to this game and be introduced to something that they haven't seen before, as well as expanding that character's popularity so more people would be interested in reading her books. Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel's books are incredibly popular. They're very well received critically, and they do sell pretty well. This game would just be further marketing towards that. And I know as far as Avengers, she's a young Avenger, or I should say a new Avenger. I think a champion now is the team that she's on. But I think that there's a great chance for Kamala Khan. She has powers that are very similar to Mr. Fantastic, that she can stretch her body. She also can heal herself a little bit. She's very durable, and she's, you stretch around. She's fun. She's young. She's vibrant, and a great pick for this game. At number 3, I have Starlord. So I want to make sure we understand that they're more than likely going to do the comic book version of Starlord, even though the comic book version now looks like the movie version, though they can still go back and do like the classic costume where they have like the blue outfit, just like in Rocket, what Rocket had in Marvel 3, the blue outfit with the red thing in the middle. I don't know how to describe that, but that is like the classic costumes for the Guardians of the Galaxy, for Starlord and Rocket in particular. As far as that goes though, like I said, it will be more than likely no Drax, more than likely Groot not being any other appearance. I don't think they're going to throw in Nebula. I think there's a chance of Ronan, guys, because there's not that many villains right now in my head that are going to make this game. So I think there's a chance for Ronan, but as far as the Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord would round out the playable characters from that franchise. At number 2, I have Ant-Man. So Ant-Man, even though the movie wasn't as big and as popular as the other franchises have been, it still was a very successful movie. It was a very good movie, guys. Go check it out. And then coming off of Civil War, people still do have Ant-Man in their minds, and him becoming giant in that movie as well gives them more possibilities of what they can do with the character in the game. They can make him big, they can make him small, they can have Anthony in the game, they can do a whole lot of shrinking stuff. That would be really cool if you can shrink your opponent with Ant-Man. That would be awesome. With that though, I don't think Wasp is going to make the game, because not only would they have similar powers, and sure, I know Wasp can do energy blasts and she can fly, but that would be the only real difference between the two. And Wasp was a little bit in the Ant-Man movie. She's not really going to have any feature in Marvel for another couple years, so we could get an introduction to quote-unquote introduction to Wasp in this game to warm her up to a larger audience for later on, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't think they're going to go in that direction, so we're just going to stick with Ant-Man for this one, and that would be it. Alright, before I reveal the number 1, I do want to say a few honorable mentions, and I will explain the number 1 even with some more of those honorable mentions. So first off is Kid Nova. I think they're going to go with Sam Alexander over Richard Rider, even though that would be a easy transfer because they already have the character models, they already have the move set for Richard Rider Nova from Ultimate Marvel 3, but Marvel since then, they really love Sam Alexander Nova, which is the very young kid Nova. They've been pushing for him, and I don't want to go into too much, but there's an instance in another game that we as fans wanted Nova hard, and then they said, okay, here's Nova, and they gave us Sam Alexander. So like nobody wanted him, even though Marvel really likes him. So I think there's a chance that they're going to put in the small version of Nova and not the grown man version of Nova. Also, as far as Nico Minoru or Sister Grimm of the Runaways, there's a chance that she can get in there. She's a character that can control magic with her Staff of One, I believe it's called. She can use anything that she wants as far as she can do anything she wants as far as magic, but she can only do it once. So it would be cool if they did that in a way that had like an inventory system where you can only use one item of your inventory per battle, and then that's it. And that would be interesting to throw in some more magic users. And I believe there's a Runaway show coming soon at some point, so there would be a nice cross promotion for that. And as far as Black Widow, guys, like I said, with Vision, I don't even know if Hawkeye is going to make the game. And if they put Black Widow in the game, Hawkeye has to make it. If they don't put Hawkeye in the game, Black Widow doesn't have to be there. I really hate saying that she won't be in the game, because she should be. She needs more love, but I don't see it happening. Alright, and going to close out the rest of this list with more of an explanation. So my number one character is Black Panther. Coming off of Civil War, he's at an all-time high. He's got a very successful comic book. He's got the movie lined up for 2018. One of my favorite characters ever. He's most likely going to be featured in this game. However, I want to throw in these two, and that is Daredevil and Moon Knight. I know a lot of people really want Moon Knight to be in this game, and like I said, I don't want to have similar characters that have similar roles or similar move sets. And with Black Panther, Daredevil, and Moon Knight, they're all pretty much melee, for the most part, rushdown characters. I think the biggest rushdown character here is Black Panther, and the most popular character here is Black Panther. With Daredevil, yes, the Netflix series, I completely get that. But other than maybe doing some sort of stuff where I think he can maybe make himself not invisible, but maybe make the screen go black and make it hard for you to see. But I don't see a whole lot of things that you can do with Daredevil uniquely from Black Panther, and same with Moon Knight. Moon Knight could have some, crescent darts and his staff and stuff, but they're still pretty basic on the melee portion side of it. And even then, with the other Netflix people, the Jessica Jones and the Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, sure, is gonna possibly be in this game because he was already in the previous game, and that gives a better chance for Luke Cage. Jessica Jones is kind of like, I love her, man, but I don't know if she's gonna make it. A lot of people kind of feel salty towards her, but that's just how I feel, guys. Let me know what you think about this list. Again, this is not a wish list for me. This is not who I want to be in the game. This is more who I think is going to be in the game based off of the arguments that I presented in this video. If you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, and let me know who you think is a better top 10 list of not who you want. I don't want a list of who you want to be in the game. Tell me who you think is going to be in the game, because that is a very different list, and I will again probably make a want list later on. I love Marvel Comics, so there's tons of characters that I want in the game, but they ain't gonna be in there. But that's again a list for another day. I am Ninja Turtle. Make sure you like this video and hit the share button. I appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't. I do these videos on Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, just some sort of discussion every single week. I just was a day late this week, but make sure you come back for more and other topics and video game videos on this channel. I will see you guys in the next video.